seminars. We believe that while no one knows everything, everyone knows something. So let's learn from everyone. So, once again, thank you so much for joining us. And the first session. Before I introduce the first session of the evening, how many of you have heard of MindSpeak? We all know MindSpeak was only the mode of communication for the entire industry during the lockdown, and it was the only platform where our minds could. And what did MindSpeak do? It connected with more than 125,000 people over a series of 90 webinars done every day at 2 p.m. This MindSpeak is here with us today at the GJS seminars to share ideas and learn from everyone. So let's start with our first seminar for today. The topic of discussion. The Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan by World Gold Council. The Indian gold industry has always worked towards upholding quality business and ethical standards, right from the standardization of weights and measures to the introduction of sound sound department. Can you please check? The mic is going off in between. Can you please check the technical error, please? Thank you so much. As I was saying, and as its latest endeavor, here's presenting Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan, a one-of-a-kind industry initiative offering best practices and guidance to support the industry stakeholders in their business journey in a principled manner. For this, I'd like to invite Mr. Srivatsava, CEO and Director, Evental Global Advisory Private Limited. And I don't think I'm qualified enough to introduce this amazing guest, so I would kindly request sir to come on stage and take over and enlighten our audience. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause, please?
Very good afternoon to all of you. It's a privilege and honor to be here to speak on this very important and a very new subject called Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan. My name is Srivatsava Ganapati. I represent Evental Global Advisory Services. We are the Center of Excellence for Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan, the initiative which started in operations from January 2022. Before we go into the presentation, there is a small. We are also fortunate to have the leaders from World Gold Council India with us, Mr. P.R. Somasundaram, the regional CEO, and also Mr. Ajit Mauskar, who is driving this program, Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan from World Gold Council. So with this, let me just go to the brief video to give an overview of what this project is all about.
To live by principles. It might sound challenging, but think about it. It's quite easy to say, I'm principled. All it takes is to live by principles. It might sound challenging, but think about it. It's quite easy to say, I'm principled. All it takes is 4 syllables. It's only when you walk 4 steps alone on a principled path that you'll know what it really takes. If you can continue walking, you'll find your way at every turn. The principled path is full of challenges that life throws to those who live by principles. Of course, it's possible, but it is difficult to be principled alone. You see, even principles can't do much on their own. Even principles need people to follow them, like a leader. If we all follow the same principles, they can be so much more. We can be so much more. If we live by principles together, they become culture and tradition. Social values that can foster many generations in the future of our children and their children. No matter what it takes, no matter what principles demand of us, if we come through together, we'll reap more than we sow. So let's work together, let's rise together, let's shine together, let's stay principled together, you, me, all of us. इसी में फायदा है. Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan, an industry initiative.
That is the video which we recently made. I now request Mr. P.R. Somasundaram to give an overview of what is Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan and why World Gold Council initiated this idea. Sir.
Well, we know it's always on the sidelines of a business event. It is tough, but we are always happy to present about the initiative. Very interestingly, this initiative started with GJC meeting us in about 3 years ago when my new boss, global boss, had come. And they said, we have this trust mark and we experimented it, etc. And triggered the thought in our mind that why don't we take it up as a global initiative. That is why we went back and we framed what is known as retail gold investment principles, 7 principles on for the entire global retail industry. Because don't forget, even outside of India, you go to Bank of England, their site says, if you are doing anything on gold with the retail industry, it's at your own risk. So, because it is not regulated, no regulator wants to take any ownership for this. So we said, why don't the industry itself, the retail industry for gold, which is very large, take in its own initiative. So we formed the global committee and we came out with 7 principles about transparency, accountability. We will take you through that. And we did that in India as well. We rolled it out. And what did we do? We said, okay, just giving the principles will not be helpful to India. So why don't we also develop a code of conduct? So we have developed a code of conduct. And then once the code of conduct comes, how do we market it? That's why you saw one of the videos now we have got some, collaterals. Srivatsa will quickly take you through all that. And right now, what are we doing? We are just creating an awareness amongst the trade to sign up to this initiative. Now, what will this initiative do? The whole idea is once you are a part of the Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan membership, whether you are based in Belgaum or you are based in Toronto, you are a retailer, you have the same standards. So one can walk and buy anything because you are part of a global principle. Of course, India, we have branded it as Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan, but that is actually retail gold investment principles. This is a very, very big initiative. We know it's not going to happen overnight. But what we want in the next 2 years is to create a lot of awareness amongst the people. And I will also reveal one more thing in another probably 8 weeks or so. We will come out with how are we going to administer this? Yeah. How is Eventel involved? What we said is let Eventel now talk to individual jewelers. Tell them about the benefits of Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan. Tell them about code of conduct. We have developed a code of conduct with all the industry for jewelers, for bullion traders, for digital players, etc. And enlist them, get their in-principle agreement. Once that comes, our idea is we will form a self-regulatory organization. We are going to announce it in the next 8 weeks. What is the self-regulatory organization? It will have the membership of the associations as a board, but it will be predominantly independently managed. So you will have very, very senior people actually forming part of this board, with the associations also being part of the board, and they will run this program for India. which means somebody signs up as a Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan. I'm a jeweler, I'm a bullion trader, I've signed up to this code of conduct, Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan. This board will then say, okay, you are now a member, you can use this logo, but we will also audit you. By audit, how the audit will happen, etc., we will deal with the associations, etc. But the entire process, just like how LBMA does with refiners, this SRO will do with the retailers who want to be part of this. This is voluntary, obviously. Now, the idea is what is in the benefit for the retailers? We also intend to do a similar, not the same thing. We will do programs which will tell the consumer what it means for them to buy from a Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan person rather than from a non-Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan person. We are not going to say don't buy. All we are saying it is, you walk into Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan, you are governed by a certain code of conduct, which the industry lives by, and we are auditing it. Therefore, you can be absolutely sure. Now, what that does is, as we said, if there is a person traveling from abroad, he wants to buy jewelry. Today, what does he do? He just comes, oh, you've got a few big stores. We normally take him to the big stores, he or she, and they buy. Now, they don't have to worry because World Gold Council would have taken enough, or the SRO would have taken enough to say, if you are part of Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan, it doesn't matter whether it is in the gully or it is in the high street. The practices are global and trustworthy. Go and buy anywhere. That is the whole idea. Now, as a retailer, then it becomes a lot more helpful. So this is what we intend to do, but this will be independently governed. We do not want to get involved. This is started by us, but it will be managed in India by an independent board, in which the associations will be there, but it will also have an independent board. By independent, I am not saying people from industry. I'm just talking about retired, I'm just giving you names, Comptroller and Auditor General, a retired, some regulator, retired policy maker. They will be very independent. Like you have Amphi today, you have various, we have already done a big study of nearly 8 such SROs across the globe. We have seen what are the pluses and minuses, and we are bringing a structure, an SRO here, which will run this program. So in the meanwhile, Eventel this year, along working with us, because right now the SRO is not in place, they are reaching out to jewelers, they are using Labam, they are using IBJA's, there is one Gyan webinar. We are using every opportunity to tell the jewelers. And we are not in a hurry. It's not like December 31, 2022. We want so many people. No. The whole idea is industry has to come together and pool the efforts to create trust. The minister just spoke about trust. It is one thing to say, as he rightly says, one thing to say, I am principled. That's what we are saying. Everybody says, I am principled. And we are principled. But just imagine when you just pool everything and say, we are principled and we are going to show you in this manner. So everybody joins. Then there is an effort. Then you are going to advertise to the press, in the media, saying, what is Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan? Then the consumers will say, are you Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan? Yes. It's like a 5-star rating in a hotel. So that is what we are intending to do. We understand. Today we have started with probably 10 people, and we always do that. But maybe 1 year down the line, we will have 100 people. So we are talking to the industry. We are very clear that the SRO will be formed. We will initially fund it, but it will be a self-funded, highly reputed institution, post which our view is even the government will look up to the SRO for other advice. You don't have to keep running to the government for everything. That's the whole idea. So if you can quickly take them through details. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Now that the basics are covered, I'll just take you to, this is a website. excuse me, uh, I need to get that because I wanted to walk you through the website. So can somebody help me with this? Because yeah. It's okay. Okay.
Just screen setting option.
Yeah. This is the website, no? So
Yeah. Oh, it's not coming.
No, while setting the screen, you must have to share all the screens at once. Sir,
yeah, I'll just take you through this website. Swarnaadarsh.com is the name of the website. If you go into the website, it's in Hindi, Tamil, and English at this point in time. This is a campaign which we just saw. We talked about code of conduct and self-assessment guide. Right now, we have exhaustive code of conduct and self-assessment guide for jewelry retailing, jewelry manufacturing, digital gold retailing, bullion trading, assaying and hallmarking, and bullion refining. So if you get into each of them, you will find a lot more useful resources in detailed code of conduct for each of these segments, and also a self-assessment toolkit. Thereby, a jeweler would know in terms of this code of conduct where he is at this point in time and what further needs to be done. As Mr. Somasundaram said, this whole Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan is inspired by the Retail Gold Investment Principle (RGIP), which stands on 7 pillars. These are the 7 pillars of RGIP, and the entire Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan program is an initiative of World Gold Council, but there was a 40-member committee which was put together to develop the code of conduct as well as to develop the self-assessment kit. So these are the people who are giving their opinion. So when we talk to various industry participants, we ask them to do a couple of things. One is that choose your segment where you are operating and go through the self-assessment kit and the code of conduct. For instance, if you are a retailer, you can click here, you can go there. And once you're comfortable, you can go to the next process, which is signing the expression of interest. Since January 2022, we have reached out to 1,500 plus participants across the value chain. We have so far got 29 expression of interest at this point in time. Very important is that the initial thought leaders who felt it is very important initiative, they've also offered to help us to reach out through their network into their known circles. So my request to all those who are present here is that please take time and look at this Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan program, and please do sign up if you feel comfortable with the code of conduct by signing on the expression of interest. And if you can help us out to reach out in your city or in your region through any of the programs or only for this, we would be more than happy to engage with you so that we can take this message forward. So that's all I have at this point in time. If there are...
Just add one or two things.
Yes.
Yeah. Very important is, while we speak about India, very interesting. Again, that's why I said we will pick it up probably in month end or something like that. The only country which is leading this initiative globally is India. And the next country which is looking up to India is Germany. You'll be surprised. Germany has already formed a very strong group of retail. As you know, Germany is very big in gold. And for those who don't know, number 1 country in gold is Germany. We think it is India or China. It's not. They buy more gold per capita than we do, ever. Okay? They are 2.43 grams per person. We are just hardly half a gram per person. Okay, they have 5 times in per capita consumption of gold. That's because of their, Second World War, what happened to their currency, etc. The families are more devoted to gold than we are. It's just that they are a smaller country, so we don't realize it. There, the retail gold people have come together, and the only question every time they ask is, what's happening in India? In fact, they have taken the SRO idea and said, yeah, we should form something. And our global vision is, we form some SROs in key countries, like Australia we're now working on, Singapore we're working on, and actually have one global forum as well. Okay. Now, will all this work out? We believe it will, because we are very determined to make this happen for India. And we will at least present the best practices, because see, not that we don't have good practices. What's happening is, as that advertisement said, it's being done in pockets. So with the result, you are allowing it to let the buyer beware principle. That should not happen. As an industry, we should come together and say, we are behind Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan. We are going to have this, and we are going to have this audited by ourselves. Why should we work with BIS to say whether hallmarking is working or not? We, the SRO, will say whether hallmarking is working or not. That's the same thing with AMFI. AMFI does everything for the mutual fund industry. But it doesn't mean that SEBI does not regulate. SEBI is the primary regulator. But what does AMFI do? When AMFI writes something to a mutual fund, they observe it. It's the same thing with Automobile Association. We will have a separate conversation on the SRO piece, what we have studied, global organizations we have studied, including, I think, CRI or something like that, right? I mean, we picked up a lot of those institutions, and we have got the best practice here. And as Srivatsa said, the website now has enough information, but we'll keep it dynamic. So with those words, I'll just say that, we have launched the Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan. Signing an expression of interest does not mean you have to, you'll get audited tomorrow. But what it does is, you can read the principles, you can set up your practices, etc. But once the SRO is formed, then SRO will probably come around and, ask the concerned persons to upload documents. If you are saying you have the best practices in labor, you will have to upload some document for it. What those are, the SRO will decide. But they will decide in consultation with this. If you are saying that you have the best practices on refunds, we don't have to say, it is voluntary. You upload some document to say why you are very good in refunds. What are your best practices? So we can say this is the gold standard for refunds, and if others don't follow, you're just not there. We could even go into the ranking. In fact, we are thinking about talking to CRISIL and others to give ratings, even within Swarna Adarsh Abhiyaan. But that's for a future date. So this has a lot of potential to make the industry a lot more stronger, more with the government and with the consumer. And we will see how it goes. We are determined to help the industry, not by saying, please buy. See, earlier in 2010, 2011, Mr. Minawala knows, we worked with individual jewelers and said, we will do co-marketing. So we'll go to Bangalore and probably pick up that big jeweler in Bangalore. And we'll have a hoarding saying his piece was presented, but funded 50%, 75% by us, 25% by him, whatever it is. That was generally to promote gold. Going forward, we're going to say, gold is trust. So, and this particular program which the industry supports is improving trust. So we are going to actually work on this. Plus, already we are on Your Gold campaign, which we will help millennials. So that's our approach in support of the industry. Thank you very much for patiently listening. And Eventel will continue to be our partner in approaching, because we can't do the operational stuff. We are a very small organization. And any doubts, anything, they are available. They will reach out in various programs and let people know. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, before closing, I would request each one of you to please take time to go to swarnaadarsh.com, go through the code of conduct, and please reach out to us. We are there to support this. And please do call us to your city. We are more than happy to come and further, discuss this. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for this enlightening session. And I hope everyone had some good takeaways from this first session. So moving on to our next session of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is a special one because this is a stellar all-women session, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It is the women empowerment in the jewelry industry. We have a stellar lineup of women achievers as speakers and panelists. Most importantly, we have our keynote speaker, Eka Chaturvedi Banerjee, the founder and CEO of Ekam. She is the best-selling author of 52 Red Pills, a new age playbook to become healthy, wealthy, and wise. So, ladies and gentlemen, this next session is titled Empowering Women in the Jewelry Industry. The jewelry industry employs a large number of women at the entry and middle management level. There is, however, a vacuum at the top. So, is the glass half empty or half full? Successful women with diverse backgrounds share their experience and discuss a way forward. So that is the session. And may I please call upon stage the esteemed panelists for this discussion. First up, Ms. Anamika Rokde, Director, Rokde Jewelers from Nagpur. Can we have a round of applause? Then we have Archana Iyengar, creator and founder, thebrahma.com from Chennai. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for these amazing women? I would also like to invite Preeti Bhatia ji, founder of Awesome Sparklers from Surat. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Shweta Pathak ji, brand owner, Akarshan Gems and Jewelry from Bhopal. Ma'am, more than 2 decades. He is a well-known sales and marketing professional associated with the luxury and fashion industries. Mr. Prabhakar